So this video is going to go over graphing lines. So we're going to kind of go through it at a little bit of a fast pace. You've probably done graphing before, so we just want to highlight a few things on here as well. So first line we're going to graph is y equals 3x minus 1. And I want you to notice that this is in the y equals mx plus b form of a line, the slope-intercept form of a line. So the m is the slope, and the b is the y-intercept. So one thing that I do like to do here before I'm going to graph this is I'm going to take that slope. I know my slope is equal to 3, and I'm going to write it as a fraction. I like my slope as a fraction because then what I can do is I can apply how high I rise and how far I run. So these are words that you've probably heard of: rise over run, change in y over change in x. Our y-intercept is at -1, so it goes through the point 0, -1. So here's how I'm going to actually make that graph. I'm going to start at the y-intercept, 0, -1. I'm going to make a dot there. And then from that dot, I'm going to apply my slope. My slope is 3 over 1, so I'm going to go up 3 and over 1 and make another dot. Now, I'm not going to draw that little segment in there. So what I'm really going to just do is I'm going to count up 3 spaces and to the right 1 space. And I'm going to repeat that, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. Now, instead of going up 3 and to the right 1, let's do the opposite and go down 3 to the left 1. Again, I'm just going to draw in the down 3 and to the left 1, but we don't have to do that part. Just go down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1. And a couple things I like to do here. First of all, you notice that I filled my entire grid, or as much as I could. Because I've seen students plot like 2 points, 3 points, and then they draw a line and their line goes like that, and it's horrible. So please don't do that. Fill up your grid with lines. And now, if you go over to the side wall, you can grab yourself a ruler. And what is really good is if you put a ruler on here, and then you use your ruler to draw that straight line. Please notice a couple things too. I go to the end of my grid. I'm going all the way to the ends of it. I'm not going to stop here. I see some people doing stuff like this. That's no good. Okay, go all the way to the end, and let's label it too. Granted, we don't necessarily have to label if you graph one line because it's the only line you're graphing. But later on, if we graph 2 lines, we want to be able to tell which one is which. So this is graphing a line in its slope-intercept form. It's y equals mx plus b form. So again, I expect you're pretty good at that. So we're going to go to some that you might not be pretty good at and play with those. You might remember this form of the line as the point-slope form of the line. So this has a slope of -1/3. My slope is -1/3. I like that it's a fraction, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down 1, and I'm going to go right 3. When I have a negative slope, I like to do it to the denominator. The negative tells me whether or not to go up or down. I always like to go to the right. Now, the other part of this is that data point. This data point is at 2, -4. You might remember that in parentheses, it's always x subtract something. So that something is going to have the x value of 2. I'm going to do the same exact thing I did before, but instead of going through a y-intercept, I'm going to go to the point 2, -4. And I'm going to make my dot. And now I'm going to do my slope of -1/3. I'm going to go down 1, and I'm going to go to the right 3. Down 1, to the right 3. Let's go the other way. Let's go up 1, to the left 3. 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 There's my x-intercept. Have you ever heard of that, where the graph crosses the x-axis? That point is called the x-intercept. We'll do that in about a minute. Again, I filled my dots across the page. I grabbed my ruler, my straight edge. Yours is going to look a lot better than mine because you used a ruler. We'll label that line y equals -1/3 times the quantity x minus 2, subtract 4. So a couple things that are similar. I do my slope. I count my slope from a given point, whether it's the y-intercept or whether it's some other data value. Oh, now your world falls apart. That's okay. Let me pick it back up for you. This is the standard form. So standard form, what I like to do in standard form is I like to find the 2 intercepts of the graph. The intercepts are going to be where the x and y values equal 0, where it crosses the x-axis. So I do what's called the cover-up method. Or maybe you might call it the finger method, because you only need one finger to do this. So here's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover up one part of my equation.
Please come to the kiosk. Mackenzie, please come to the kiosk.
Let's see if Mackenzie made it to the kiosk. So I'm going to cover up one part of my equation. So my equation, 3x plus 2y equals 12. I'm going to cover up. So you take your hand and you cover up the 3x part. Now, while you're covering that up, you solve this next part of the equation. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I'm going to get y equals 6. Let's make that x look like a y. There we go. So this tells me my y-intercept. The reason why I call it the cover-up is you're letting x equal 0. So when you say that x equals 0, y equals 6. And that's the point 0, 6. So I'm going to go up to the point 0, 6, and I'm going to make a dot. Now let's do the cover-up method for the other value. So here's my 3x plus 2y equals 12. Now let's cover up the other part. Cover up the 2y. Now I'm left with 3x equals 12. Divide by 3 and I get x equals 4. So now when my y value is 0, my x value is 4. So I'm going to graph the point 4, 0. Here we go. So those are my 2 points that are on my line. You want to get some more? I would maybe do my slope a little bit. I'm going to go down 6 to the right 4. See that down 6? See that right 4? So let's keep doing that down 6 and right 4. Go down 6. Go to the right 4. It's going to be like right around here somewhere. Now I got 3 points on my graph. Hey, did you notice that half of down 6 over 4 is really down 3 over 2? So you can get some points there and there. And that might help you to go like up 3 and to the left 2. There's another point. So I got a bunch of points on my grid. Let's connect them using your ruler, using your straight edge, going all the way to the ends. Put arrows on it. 3x plus 2y equals 12. So when I see it in standard form, I really like to do that method, that cover-up method. Some kids even call it the finger method. They're like, oh, I'm going to give this the finger, man. So hey, give it the finger. Take your finger and cover it up. Cover up that part of it. All right. So we've seen like y equals mx plus b type ones. We've seen standard form. And the other form is just a mess. Like where you got some things on one side, some things on another. What I like best to do here is I like best to solve it for y equals. So I'm going to rearrange this equation so it's in its y equals form. So I see my equation now. It's 3x equals 2y minus 8. So I'm going to solve for y. I'm going to add 8 to both sides of my equation. Oh, do not write 11x there. That is so bad. My goodness. 3x plus 8 is just that. It's 3x plus 8. Leave it as equals 2y. Now let's divide everything by 2. And I get y equals 3 over 2. It looks ugly. But remember, I want my slope as a fraction. So let's just leave it as 3 over 2 times x. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now my slope is equal to 3 over 2. My y-intercept is positive 4, or the point 0, 4. So let's graph. Let's go to the point 0, 4, and let's start doing our slope. Go up 3 over 2. There's my dot. Up 3 over 2. There's my dot. I don't need all those little tiny dots in there. Go the other way. Go down 3, left 2. Down 3, left 2. Down 3, left 2. Down 3, left 2. Yay! I don't need those things. Here we go. Let's now draw a nice line between those. Now, students always say, how do I label this? Doesn't matter. You want to put 3x plus 2y, or 3x equals 2y minus 8? Fantastic. You want to put y equals 3/2 x plus 4? Wonderful. I don't care which one you do, just label something. So hopefully this was a good reminder about graphing. What you're going to have to do now is complete some questions, just practice more graphing. So when I see you again later on this week, you're a good grapher. Thanks for watching.